follow-up video diatribe on San Diego County Viognier. And what's the diatribe about? I want to just do it separately because grapes go differently, taste differently depending on where they're grown, what year they're grown, soil, climate, many things, right? We've all listened into this concept of terroir, the fact that something, wherever it's grown, is a unique expression of that place. However, at the same time, we tend to form niches, definitions of how these things are supposed to taste. So if we have a Cabernet Sauvignon, then it's supposed to taste kind of like a Cabernet Sauvignon, unless it's a well-established version of it somewhere else. And then it can taste different. So it can taste different if it's been grown for in a certain place for a very long time. Then it can taste different than if it's grown somewhere else, and both types would be respected. Otherwise, it kind of has to fit a standard prototype. And Viognier is out of Condrieu, France. It was down to not many acres, very few really, just in France in the 50s. And now it's come back. A beautiful grape, can make a beautiful wine. Very low yield, so you don't get a lot of grapes per acre. You don't get a lot of wine per acre, which is why it kind of fell out of favor for quite a long time. But beautiful grape makes a beautiful wine. But the expression in Condrieu, which has then been the expression that's been followed elsewhere, even though it's really a tiny area, has always been a very, you would just say, an opulent style. Very lush. Peach, tropical notes, a little soft on the acidity. That's how, when it's been grown in other places in the New World, they've kind of followed that prototype where it's been planted. Now, San Diego County Viognier comes in vastly different. I love our example of it. I think it's fantastic, but if you try any other San Diego County Viognier, it's going to follow a little bit of the same prototype in that it is much more towards citrus notes and much leaner and much more high acid and a little bit more minerally. I think it's absolutely delicious. But it's kind of funny because you can actually get into issues when you pour it. For people who are doing judging, or for people who are looking to put wines on a wine list and things of that sort, because it says Viognier, but to them it doesn't taste like Viognier. And that's of course just stupid, because it doesn't taste like Viognier from Condrieu. It tastes perfectly like Viognier from San Diego County. And it's a challenge, though. I understand, there's certain retail challenges and retail issues with that. When people see something they've had Viognier before, and then they expect it to taste like something, it tastes like something different. But I think that's kind of part of the forefront of what the responsibility. That's how the wine world grows. I just think that, in my personal opinion, this is a very beautiful example of Viognier, and it should be one that's put at the forefront. Especially since it's quite funny that people don't think it tastes like regular Viognier or the Viognier you're used to, and most people don't like that Viognier. But they like this Viognier, but then they have these kind of existential issues. Anyways, that's my little rant on Viognier, which is why I put it into a separate video than tasting notes. You wouldn't have to hear it unless you really wanted to.